I have been running a solo software company for over 10 years. No employees, no outsourcing, it's just me. And over the last couple years, I have started to incorporate AI into my business to help with some of the lifting. Today, I'm going to share with you my top 10 ways that I use my local AI in my business so you can steal them and it could possibly help you 10x your output or even 10x your time off. Let me get started with the tool that began me down this entire journey and the one that I still use today, even 3 years later. Number 10, proofreading. I'm going to go ahead and knock out one of the myths behind local AI. You don't actually need a ton of money. My first AI cost about $200 and is something that I still use even today. I built my first AI solely for proofreading. I write fast, I make typos, and I try to get my thoughts out as quick as I can. It's not pretty, and before my AI, I relied on my wife and mother-in-law to actually proofread everything. It was a burden on them, and more importantly, it was extremely embarrassing for me. A moderately successful business owner and a school teacher that can't spell his way out of a wet dictionary is not something that I like to brag about. Don't get me wrong, I love writing. I tell people all the time that coding is just like writing a book, but your audience is a computer and not a person. Even though I love writing, the last thing that I want to do is actually share my writings. They make perfect sense to me, but they kind of look like garbage to everyone else. And I need a proofreader for that reason. So I built one, and my first AI did just that. I dug a computer out of a dumpster and bought a graphics card for around $200. I even recorded the entire thing of me building it that you can watch on the channel if you're interested. Within a couple hours, I had a basic LLM up and going and an uploaded knowledge base of my writings, my fully edited writings, mind you. With this, the AI was able to get my tone and energy down perfectly. After years of having my wife proofread everything, I now just feed all my rough drafts directly to the AI and it gives me corrections instantly. I don't even know how to quantify the amount of time that it saved me having a proofreader on hand ready to go, but I'm telling you, it was well worth my $200 investment. Number 9, OCR. This is more useful for my wife, but I've used it several times too. OCR, also known as optical character recognition, is a process of pulling text from images and PDFs. My wife's job often has her type up documents that are faxed in, and these can be anywhere from like single page documents all the way up to 20-page legal documents. Because of the sensitivity of the documents, online converters and OCR things just kind of aren't an option. So to save her time, I set up the AI to respond over email and OCR her documents for her. When she gets a document in, she forwards it to the AI through an email, and within seconds, the new document is sent right back to her. It's been OCR'd and ready to go. The setup was pretty simple, and most models already read images anyway, so they can do OCR right out of the gate. The only trick was getting the email set up, and I personally chose N8N for this. N8N is completely free. It's an automation software that honestly every company should be running or using if you have AI being used at all. You can pretty much use N8N to automate anything. If you don't know what N8N is, just jot it down, make a note of it, and look it up after the video. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Number 8, Comfy UI. I often need background music for my videos and live streams. If you posted on YouTube before, then you've probably ran into the same issue of royalty-free music already being taken. And yes, I know it's royalty-free, but YouTube doesn't really care about that. Once a creator uses a song, even if it's public domain, YouTube will automatically flag them as the original creator. It sucks to dump hours of time into a video just to find out that your revenue stream is going to someone else because you used a royalty-free song for 10 seconds at the end of a video. I use an interface called Comfy UI, and I use it to generate music as well as videos and images. As an added bonus, Comfy UI actually integrates directly into OpenWebUI. And if you don't know what OpenWebUI is, just hang tight. I'll go over it more in number 4. I only use the text to image and text to music feature in Comfy UI, but there are so many other options with free templates that you can work with right as soon as you get it. your template, download the files, and then run the template. That's it. Text to image, image to image, text to music, text to video, image to video, video editing, you name it. If it's some kind of visual or audible something, you can do it with Comfy UI. Number 7, product SEO. SEO used to be keywords and placements. Now it's AI overviews. Think less front page of Google and more the one thing that the AI overview suggests. You see, being at the top of Google's list is not good enough anymore. The top spot isn't even the top. You need to be the one that the AI recommends. You need to be the one that the AI says, hot dang, this is exactly what my audience is looking for. In order to get your product to be recommended by the AIs, you have to understand how the AI works. The AI scans the top few pages for content, pulls all the text together into one document, and then summarizes that document and feeds it back to its user. If 5 of those pages that the AI found all mention product A, and then 3 pages mention product B, and then there's 2 pages that mention both A and B, then the AI will recommend product A, ideally and hopefully point the user to the product page of product A. And before the SEO nerds out there start typing mad comments down below, yes, I know there's a lot more that goes into it than just that, like site domain, reputation, and link backs. There's lots of stuff that goes into SEO. I get it, okay? But just lay off. This is a demonstration. To get the AI to recommend your product, you have 2 options. The first option is just to flood the web with SEO so your product shows up at the top 10 results or whatever it is. So the AI will say, hey, there's a lot of websites recommending this product. Let's just recommend this product. But that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and takes a larger footprint. You can't just do it with one domain. The second option, and this is something you can do right now to actually increase your chances, is called AEO, or Answer Engine Optimization. It's like SEO, but it's essentially hijacking the AI to pretty much prompt it to tell your product is the best one. How it works is you put keywords, quotes, and embedded text prompts early on in the text so that it triggers the AI to recommend your page above others. You're essentially causing your page to have more weight than all the other pages. You're putting more weight on that product than the other sites do. So to make this easier on me, I made an AI assistant that pretty much did it for me. This script, which I'm showing right here, takes any landing page and tells me what to change so the AI in the search will recommend my product over others. You can take this prompt, copy, paste it, use it. It's my gift to you for making it this far in the video. Number 6, blog posting. Okay, I hate writing blog posts because they take so much time for no immediate payoff. A blog post is something that we call evergreen content. They typically get little to no views early on, but over time they grow as more people see them. Like an evergreen tree, they don't really have a season. They just keep growing throughout their lifespan as long as you keep watering them. And one blog post can take hours or even days to write and research. And if you have to keep constantly posting, that's the watering part. If you don't water your blog or keep it up and going and keep it constantly refreshing with new content, then it stops getting new traffic and it withers and dies. I hate dedicating time to something that no one will see, and I'd rather spend my time writing code. So, like everything else on this list, I automated the process, which as a side note is really what AIs are good for, just automating everything. Using my AI in N8N, I created an automation for my blog posting system. It's a full workflow that pretty much covers everything that I ever did before, automates it. At set times or whenever I find something new and I'd like to post about it, my AI will create a blog post in my writing style and post it directly on my WordPress website. What does it post about? Well, that's the fun part. The AI gets blog post ideas from the same places that I used. I have several online forum accounts that I contribute to, some of which are Excel forums. I have my AI monitor these forums, read the top threads that have not been resolved, and then come up with a topic that it thinks it can answer. It uses my code base, my repository of all my coding that I've done over the years, my writing style, my writing samples that I've given it, and all my user manuals to create a blog post that covers the topic and creates a post answering the inquiry while also promoting my products at the same time. This works great not only because my AI is watering my evergreens and adding content to my site, but the people who are creating the thread and asking the question are typically Googling the problem and seeking an answer as they're publishing on the forum and thread. It creates a chain that I've been using for years to bring in new posts right up to the top of Google searches by answering a question that someone is just now looking up. It basically brings me brand new traffic and increases my site's reputation while answering a problem at the same time. It's a win-win-win. But it's not just Excel postings. The AI also writes blog posts about Amazon products, where it takes products that have a lot of reviews and then just summarizes those reviews, plugs a link to the product with an affiliate link, and writes an article about it that basically summarizes all the reviews and tells what people like and didn't like about it. The AI posts tutorials on my software, training manuals, and even gives reviews on YouTube videos where it looks at transcripts and writes third-party commentary and direct insights, all while promoting my products at the same time. And my favorite part of all this is I set it up once and it just runs. I get 10 to 15 new posts a week that I don't lift a finger for. It's written in my own style because it has a history of all my previous writings, and it has a complete knowledge base of all of my software, my coding, and my user manuals. It knows everything about my business and promotes it at the same time while it's making new content for me. I know this sounds amazing, but believe it or not, everything else up to this point has been good. This next stuff is great. Number 5, mass email and newsletter subscribers. I have no issue spending money for my business. What I have an issue with is wasting money. I hate paying for things that I know that I can do for myself for free. And one of those big things is email marketing. You see, several years ago, I wrote a program that would take my email list, a custom body for the email, and I would send those emails out on a loop where it would be delayed every 10 seconds or so I wouldn't hit my daily limit of emails going out. I used this program for years and never sold it because I didn't want to add to the spampocalypse that was the late 2000s. But when my email subscribers grew and I started to have thousands of sales across multiple products, this whole email-based marketing became, well, kind of required and also time-consuming. And as you've probably guessed, I'm now using my AI to send out my mass emails. With program upgrades, it cross-references my customers with my database and sends out upgrade notifications for each one with customized names and a custom discount code based on their time with my company. It then distributes those emails at random intervals, sending between 2 to 5 seconds delay so the emails don't get flagged as automated. Holy crap. Maybe I'm underselling this a bit, but what I just described to you takes a program that I spent years modifying and it just made it right. And it does it automatically without me around. And it does it with a code that the AI wrote itself. Oh, I haven't got to that part yet. Wait until I do, because it'll blow your freaking mind, because it blew mine. Years of experience and life in a product that I used internally forever, and it was done in like an hour. And It did it with N8N and my own local AI model. Like, it was something that was free and it's already being used and I already had it. And the AI just was like, oh yeah, we could use that, and it's done. And that is just for the product customers. For the newsletter subscribers, the AI looks back at the blog post that we created from that previous week, which, by the way, if you remember back to our other number, wherever we created blog posts, yeah, it's using those. Well, the AI picks out 3 of the 10 to 15 that they posted that week, and then makes a quick little email, sends it out to my subscribers. In fact, I have the email brought up right here. Let me show you what it does. It has a very quick little simple subject with the user's name first, which is fantastic. It's also replaceable. So it starts off, hey, username, a very quick little, hey, look at this. I found some useful things for you. Here's a quick roundup of strategies that have been helpful in managing data sets. And then blog post, boom, learn how to navigate large Excels, unprotect massive sheets, and dynamic lookup and formulas. Hope these tips help. Quick, short, to the point. It's amazing that it sends us out, and it sends it out regularly using the blog post that it previously made. Quick, easy, and each page promotes our product too. So all those links that you saw goes to blog post that promotes our products. In fact, here's one of the blog posts that I just clicked on. I mean, I haven't even proofed this yet, but as you can see, it's sprinkled in throughout here links to our products. There's no other pop-ups. There's nothing else that goes on with it. And then over to the side, if I bring this over, more ads for our products and our blog posting. It's not crowded up with Google ads or anything like that. It's clean, simple, and it promotes our products on the page directly. It's a self-service, a self-refueling vehicle that brings in customers and subscribers on its own. It pushes fresh content daily, new subscribers weekly, pushes updates and upgrades notifications automatically. And this is just number 5. We still have 4 more left. Number 4, web research. I'm sure that you've gone on Google in the past 2 years and noticed that the AI overview sucks. Wrong almost all the time. It never cites its sources, and when it does, sometimes those sources don't even exist. But you can actually get around that searching. Did you know that you can set up your very own free web searching provider on your own so your AI can access like anything and not have to rely on the AI overview? It uses your own private searching, and it's hosted locally on your machine. It's called Searching, and I have a video for it right here. Within 30 seconds, you can have your own local AI searching the web for you and bringing back real data. No AI overview crap, just real search results that actually work. But local searching is just the foundation. It's a starting point. Once you have a good source, you also need a good tool that focuses and gives you exactly what you are looking for, exactly when you need it. But finding that tool was pretty much impossible, so like everything else in this video, I made it. I created a web browser extension and released it for free. It's going to be linked down below, and let me explain what it does. It's a browser extension that integrates local AI directly into your web browser. It's called Open Web UI Assistant, and I built it for Google Chrome. It takes an existing Open Web UI account that has an AI model available on it and directly puts that account and that model in a panel in your browser ready to go. Right-click options, summarize pages, translation, speaking, text-to-speech. You can even rewrite things directly in your email. You can select text and it will replace it for you on the page. I use it constantly at my teaching job for, I don't really know how to say this politely, but for shortening some of those emails that your supervisor sends you out on a weekly basis that are really, really long. That's what I use that for. I also use it for changing the tone in my emails, as I can be kind of dry and direct when it comes to parents and administration. Not really good for me. I use that to change the tone of my email, and it works pretty good. It's very useful when I'm doing production research too. I mean, it's extremely helpful to have an AI in the same window as the stuff you're researching so you don't have to copy and paste it everywhere. Anything that saves me time is a game changer. And this is one that I highly recommend that everyone gets. If you're already running Open Web UI, then it's a no-brainer. You need to get this. Open Web UI Assistant, it is available in the Google Chrome store. Just go there, search up extensions. Open Web UI Assistant is right there. It's for Google Chrome, and the link's down below in case you want to download it that way. Number 3, manual creation. By this point, you've probably noticed that I end up offloading everything that I don't like to do. And well, as a business owner and a single employee, if I'm not motivated, then there's not really a business. What I love is making my products better. I hate documenting the process of it. Like I hate making user manuals, help guides, terms of service, legal documents, the stuff that I have to make for the product. I just can't stand doing that. I love making the product though. Luckily, now I don't have to do any of that because I offload it all to my AI. I would love to say that all I had to do was feed my source code to the AI and it magically started making PDFs for me, but sadly, that's not exactly how it happened. Many of my projects are large, like hundreds of thousands of lines of code large. And LLMs, even the most top tier bleeding edge models, can't handle that much of a code base. That is, unless you pay like $200 a month for the top model, and even then you have to pay extra token counts because you're going to run the tokens dry. Instead, I made a tool that organizes and creates an AI matrix that lets any LLM reference an entire database without actually using up memory or tokens in the process. The program is called Data Chunker Pro, and it takes any file, format, document, directory, you name it. It takes any kind of input and it creates an AI-ready structure that uses indexing instead of context tokens. Basically, it turns your human organized data into data that an AI can actually use. Think of your database like a book. For example, The Hobbit. If you dump this whole book into an AI, it's going to lose its context pretty quick. Context is how your AI stores things in its active memory, or short-term memory, if you would. And you've probably seen this in action, and you've seen an AI just completely forget everything. You see, an AI works on something called tokens, which a token is roughly 3 characters. Like the word dog, for example. Dog would be 1 token. And if the AI retains the word dog in its memory, that means that it has spent a single token of its memory to remember that word. And that's just an example because 1 word being stored in memory is pretty worthless. But when you have a context window of, say, 8,000 tokens, then you can start to see the benefit, and it sounds like a lot of memory until you realize that books are a lot bigger than 8,000 tokens. And like I mentioned before, the standard free models can usually hold around 8,000 tokens of context. And then once it goes over that, it starts forgetting the stuff that you've talked about. This is why whenever you start talking to ChatGPT, it responds pretty good up until about the 10th response, and then it starts forgetting the instructions that you gave it on the first prompt. That is its context being eaten up. To put this into perspective, 8,000 tokens is roughly 24,000 characters, or about 4,000 words. The Hobbit in total has over 93,000 words. Visually, the AI can hold approximately 25 pages. So, about that much. What does that mean whenever it goes over the 25 pages? And let's say that we ask it to remember the next page, which is 26 pages. So it's remembering the first chapter of the book, which is 26 pages. It can't actually remember that because it can only hold 25 in its memory. So that means that the first page of The Hobbit is just gone. It doesn't remember it. In reality, once you've uploaded the entire book into an AI, it's only going to remember the last 25 pages of it. So if you ask an AI what a Hobbit is after you've uploaded the entire book to it, and if it didn't have any previous knowledge of the content you just uploaded it, then it's only going to be able to pull information from the last 25 pages. So it might be able to explain to you what a hobbit is by just analyzing the trip home that Bilbo makes whenever he's going back to the Shire. But it's not going to remember the first chapter on the first page of the first chapter where Tolkien explicitly explains exactly what a hobbit is. Data Chunker Pro flips this logic around. I made this program so it could create an index of every page, keyword, chapter, and pretty much anything that's important, and then make a indexed matrix so the AI knows exactly where to pull data from. Imagine it like having a cheat sheet for whatever you're feeding to it. It doesn't need to remember everything. It just needs to know where to find the information so it can tell you exactly what you're looking for. It could be source code, repositories, guidebooks, databases, already compiled EXEs. It doesn't matter. You name it, you can feed it to it, and it makes a readable index for it so it knows where to pull data from. It's a magic tool. Will make any AI know everything you feed it instantly. It's basically a Rolodex for your AI. It's my number one tool when it comes to getting an AI to learn something, literally anything. I know it's my own product, but I use it and I use it a lot. And if you do anything around making an AI learn something, then you should be using this too. The biggest reason that I use it in my business and why I'm sharing it with you is I make product manuals with it. Like I said, I love making products, but I hate making the documentation that goes along with the product. So I'm going to give you a live example of how this works. I have Data Chunker Pro brought up right here, and I also have a source code project back here of a game. Basically, it's a guessing game that lets you guess from 1 to whatever. If I want to make a user manual for this, all I have to do is feed that into Data Chunker Pro. I'm going to go to select source. It's in desktop demo. I'm just going to select all of that, and I'm going to select an export sample dummy code. Put it there. And then I'm going to hit build knowledge base. It's going to run through everything. It made 20 chunks or an index of 20. And I can go here. Let's go back and look at that example dummy code. And it's right here. So that is the entire index of my entire source code for the whole project. All I have to do now is upload this into my LLM. Now all I have to do is I can start a new chat. Tell me about this source code for a demo project that I have made. And then I just reference it, sample source code, and I send that to it. The provided context contains the full structure logic of a program. It's called Dummy Project. The core logic behind it is a guessing game. Guessing game where the user attempts to guess random integers between 1 and 100 and then steps you through the interface, how it looks, all that from generated source code. Can you generate for me a user manual for this project in HTML format? And that's pretty much it. It'll go through and generate for me an HTML page that I can just copy and paste directly into my site, or I can modify it and save it as a PDF if I want to, and it's an interactive PDF. And there we have it. It is a PDF, or actually an HTML that I could download to a PDF if I wanted to, that loops you through. It takes the user through the entire application, steps you through how to install it, how to run it, what operating systems it works for, which I don't even think I specified. It had to look that up on its own, so that's awesome. Is it perfect? No, but it does save hours out of my life because I don't have to do the bulk of it. Of course, it's reading all the source code. So it's looking at features that I haven't even posted yet or made public. I'm still working on them. So sometimes it says, oh, this feature is available. It's not available yet, so I still have to proofread it. And it also looks at my notes that are in there too. And sometimes it'll even say, hey, if you want to activate it, you can use this product code, because I do have a few test product codes baked into my software so I can test them. That's why you have to proofread everything. What it does do, it gives me a groundwork and a foundation so I don't have to waste more time making these things that I don't like to make. Use Data Chunker Pro. There's even a free version available that'll do pretty much everything that a normal user would need. The versions of Data Chunker Pro that you pay for are mainly for businesses and things like that who need a larger context. If you're just using this as a hobby, absolutely get the free version. It's all you're going to need. Go ahead, grab your copy today. I'm going to have the link down below. Number 2, training and education. This is one that I also use Data Chunker Pro for, but it's a little bit different, and different enough that I made it its own number. You see, many times in my business and in my educational profession, I am required to learn something new. For instance, I recently needed to learn how to use a Linux terminal very quickly, which is something I've never done before. I gathered up several PDFs, and then I fed that information into Data Chunker Pro. I just pointed at the directory and I said, hey, take all that and make it into a matrix. And then I fed that matrix to my AI. My goal was to have my very own personal AI tutor that could teach me how to use Terminal and get me comfortable using it without, well, patronizing me or going off on a tangent. Here is my tutor. I even give him a posh British accent because it makes me feel stupid whenever my hillbilly dialect shows through. I am in Terminal now. I have SSH'd into a remote desktop. I need to know how to list all the files in a directory.
L lists details, permissions, owner, size. A shows hidden files, starting with no sudo needed.
I did the same thing with the college course that I'm doing for my teaching career. I loaded up all the source data and books and programs that they gave me, and now I have a trainer that helps coach me through every lesson. Which, by the way, in case you want to have a permanent knowledge base in the AI, all you have to do is whenever you make one in OpenWebUI like I have here, just go down to the bottom and hit select knowledge, and then you can select any of the knowledge that you've previously given it. So I've given it the entire Bloomboard collection, and I can just talk to it directly and ask it questions about Bloomboard, and it'll tell me. And it's not just for personal training. I mean, that's what I use it for mainly, but you can train this model on anything. As long as you have Data Chunker Pro and you have your data, you can literally train an AI to be anything you need it to be. Customer questions, or maybe an internal HR rep, possibly a tech support bot. I know that my school uses this system called HappyFox, which is basically an email service that you send emails back and forth to a tech person. If they actually had something like this for helping them diagnose what's going on, I mean, that would save them so much time. The possibilities for this stuff is endless. And like I said, in the last number, I use this for my product user manual publications. This stuff is game changing whenever it comes to the stuff you can do with it. Again, the link for Data Chunker Pro is down below. Go ahead and grab it. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Link down below. Number 1, software development. This is where I need to clarify something. I am not a vibe coder. Yes, I am using AI to help me debug and create products faster. Here's the difference between those two, because a lot of people assume that if you're using AI to code, then you're automatically a vibe coder. A vibe coder has no idea what they're making. A vibe coder tells an LLM or an AI to make something and blindly accepts the outcome. If a product breaks, well, it's broken and they can't fix it. A vibe coder has to feed a broken project, if it does break, back to an AI, and hopefully the AI will be able to fix it for them. A vibe coder cannot discern the code that is produced and cannot visualize how the code does what it does. A programmer, on the other hand, that uses AI will send an AI off to do a specific task while they work on something else. The programmer will review the AI code, and if it meets the requirements, they implement it. If something breaks, the programmer knows how to fix it and can make adjustments to ensure that it doesn't happen again. There is a difference, and the people who say there is no difference between the two, congratulations, you just met a vibe coder. See, it's just like an accountant who uses a calculator. Not everyone who can plug numbers into a calculator is an accountant. That being said, I would not be ashamed if my accountant used a calculator. I mean, please, accountants, if you're an accountant, please use a calculator. At the same time, I would much prefer to hire an accountant that could do their job without needing a calculator to do their job. If an EMP knocked out their TI-80 whatever calculator, I would assume that they can do basic math to get the job done. The same logic applies to coding. Using AI to code is not bad, it's helpful, which is why I created another product that I use daily and is why it's on the #1 spot at this list. It's an application that lets your AI work inside your source code. I got tired of copying and pasting sections of my code into my own LLM. So instead, I thought, why not have it work directly in my code? I mean, it saves time, and that way I can see the entire code database. And I already had Data Chunker Pro, so I could just integrate that so it has all of the database and all of my knowledge in it already, and it can see my active source code that's currently running. It seemed like a obvious solution to me. I called it Visual Studio AI Assistant. And I know my naming schemes are they're terrible, and I understand that. Did you know that I actually had a dog named Pup once? It drove my parents crazy. The Visual Studio AI Assistant doesn't use Copilot or any other requirements. It works with Visual Studio Community and Pro. Visual Studio is a series of products distributed by Microsoft that are used to develop software. There are 3 different variations. You have Studio Code, which offers direct integration with Copilot and is on a monthly subscription. You have Visual Studio Community, which is a free offline version installer, and Visual Studio Pro, which is a paid perpetual version of the offline installer. Code has more features with it and comes with a Microsoft subscription and a Copilot subscription that you need to pay separately so you can use the AI integrations into it. Believe it or not, I didn't actually make Visual Studio AI Assistant to sell. I made it internally. Visual Studio AI Assistant links directly to any LLM that you have access to. It can be API, URL, Olama. It doesn't matter. It's entirely up to you. Could be locally hosted, could be a subscription that you have online. It's an AI directly in your code as you're coding. I'm talking bug fixes, subroutine tracking, class generations, rerouting, code optimizations, shortcut packaging, link phrasing, you name it. It's there and it can see it and do it for you. And holy crap, I can just send the AI off to do it and then I can work on other things. That's what I use it for. I use it as a way to try and debug and then debloat and then try and make my code better. I never intended to release this product, but once I shared it with a few friends and a couple colleagues, they begged me to publish it so they could use it too. It works with you in the same screen on your project. And if you work in a group, there's even group collaboration options that allow multiple people to work in the same repository. Honestly, this is my #1 spot for a reason. And I know this seems like a plug or a sales pitch. It's not. I use this product. I never even intended to release it. This tool was able to help me track down and fix so many bugs. One of them was even a 4-year-long bug inside of my biggest selling program, which is XYZ Mesh. It takes XYZ data and puts it into a graph like this that Excel and other, applications can actually use. It always did really well on like natural formations. As you can see here, it's a natural formation. It's a mountain range, loaded pretty good. And whenever I convert this over into a mesh, it's going to convert it over pretty well. The reason why this works so well is because I made this algorithm myself. It fills in any empty gaps and curves it around and looks for naturally occurring dips so it can graph it and make it look more realistic. The issue is if you are plotting something man-made. So in this example that I have here, I'm going to paste this in. This is a man-made surface, and they're trying to plot and see how well it curves. And if we go ahead and convert this over to a mesh, you can see there's kind of like ridges and offsets because it's not expecting that much of a slope. It's looking at the stuff around it and expecting it to curve like a natural formation would. So it wasn't perfect whenever it came to man-made structures. Now, if I take that exact same code and put it into the latest version and convert it over to a mesh, you're going to see that it does it a lot better, a lot smoother, and you don't have those dips in it anymore. I tried every AI available and tried to get it to fix this. I tried for years, and I tried to look through my own code, and what they would either do is they would just completely break my original code or just make it worse. I finally was able to fix it using the AI assistant for Visual Studio that I made. And it was awesome because it was all running locally. That machine right there fixed my issue that I was having with my code for 5 years. And not only that, it made it run faster. I'm going to show you a quick demo of how this works because it's really easy. And I think as soon as you see it in action, you're going to be like, whoa, I need to get that. So to install it, all you have to do is go to the download. You can even read the README file here if you want to, but it's pretty simple, easy stuff. You just run it. Once you run it, you're going to get a new installer right here. Going to ask you to install it. Hit yes, and then you can go into Visual Studio and it should be populated for you. If you go up to View, Ollama AI Assistant right there. Again, internal. I kind of changed the naming scheme around a little bit. What does the selected code do? I can just go ahead and send that. Let's see what it responds back with. Okay, so the code handles a save as menu prompt for text with a rich text box. It starts with what other path, and yeah, goes on with that. For the settings inside of this, really simple. Once you have it open, you can just go up here to the little menu settings option. It does not automatically come up with where the add-in is. You actually need to scroll down a little bit, which, that's something easy I can fix later. And then you can just have all of your settings right here. And this is local AI running. You can see my settings here. This is my local AI on my local network with my local server. Everything's set up and it just works. This right here has saved me more time than anything else and is the reason why it is on my #1 list. And I am not exaggerating when I say I have this running every time I start Visual Studio. The first thing I do is bring it up. It's over to the side, my own little AI assistant panel that I can talk to, and it sees everything that I'm working on. It is perfect for my work case and my workstation, and it has helped me be so much more productive, and I don't have to jump between so many different tabs trying to copy and paste my code, and I don't have to worry about my code leaking online. It is spectacular. If you or your business is using Visual Studio at all, you need to have this extension. And I'm not just trying to push a sale. This is legitimately useful. The free version will do pretty much anything you need it to do. On smaller projects, it generates up to 100 lines completely free with every response. So you could very easily just say, hey, shorten this, and it fixes it. Or, hey, look for this bug, and it finds it. The free version will do everything you need it to do, except for writing entire, massive, huge, enormous blocks of code. I mean, most functions that you're writing are less than 100 lines anyway. So the free version would pretty much do everything you need it to do. Again, Visual Studio AI Assistant, link down below, free product, get it, you need it if you're using Visual Studio. For an overview, proofreading, OCR, music and images, SEO, blog post, mass email, web research, user manuals, personal trainer, and last, software development. That is my list of how I use AI in my business. I shared everything with you, including the prompts and how I use it. If this was helpful, drop a comment down below. And I'm interested to see how you actually use AI in your business. Let's see if I missed something and maybe I can incorporate it in my business too. Heck, it might take one of my number 10 spots. Do you have any questions for me? Let me know. Interested to hear from you. Have a great rest of your day.